Whew. Wow. I don't know what to say, people. It's been hell for the past 2 weeks, I'd say. It's been, no, 3 weeks. I even sent an SOS to the pediatrician because I can't do this. Was it last week? Last week I even thought, I literally, I cannot do this anymore. I should just relinquish my child, which means place them for adoption. That's what I mean. It's too much. But that's not actually the point of this, but I'll get to that, to the point of this video. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't. And that's when I looked up the video and I found the video of the mother who had killed her child. I thought, well, I'm not gonna murder my child, and I can't place her for adoption because no one will love her like I love her. That's the irony. And I will mention that because there was a video yesterday when again I was in the throes of deep darkness. As in, like, darkness had just descended over my soul and I couldn't see a way out. I still can't see a way out. I looked again online on YouTube and there was a mom who was talking about her child and how stressed she is. It was COVID. I will say this, I don't care how bad it sounds. You parents, you families who do have schools, who do have AIDS, AIDS for your children at school, who get to breathe, who get to get a break. It could be worse. Like, seriously, you complained about COVID. We were living that anyway, every single day. Yes, for them it was a change of routine. For us, it could be anything else. It could be seeing a bird in the garage, and my son would just lose it because he's scared of birds. It could be seeing a waving tree, and my daughter would lose it because trees should not wave, should not move. We lived that, and we live it every day. I watched a documentary where the mother was saying, "Uh-oh, guys, pray for us. It's school holidays, and your brother's going to be home." It was an older woman. The son was at a college type thing with an aide to be with him. And I thought, I wish people knew how easy they actually have it compared to some of us who don't have the choice. If there was a center, a place, a school where my child could go and have someone with them, I would do that in a heartbeat. I hear apparently some governments provide that. And money, like a grant type thing. We don't have that. You are on your own. I think you can pay to have someone be with your child, but where do you get the money when you already have to pay for therapy anyway? So, you guys, you have it easy. It's not easy 100%, but I promise you, you know what it's like when you complain about school holidays. That is some of our reality, not because we want it to be. Yes, I am a homeschooling mom. I love my children, but I would stop homeschooling, especially my little angel, if I could, just so that I and the rest of my family have peace. I've got this tension in my ribs, a tension in my whole body. It can't be relieved by anything except a break. But this is relentless, and all autistic parents know that you can't get a break from autism. It's there. And some people never improve, never progress, even up till the day they die. But that wasn't the point of my video today. I'd wanted to talk about assumptions. I will say what we always say in the autism world. When you've met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. That autistic child is not going to reflect my autistic child. That autistic child's abilities might never reach my autistic child's abilities. My autistic child might never learn the skills that autistic child has learned. They're all so different. And that is why sending me videos of whichever child suddenly learned to speak doesn't mean anything. If my child was neurotypical and everything else was normal, and maybe they weren't crawling at 8 months and you sent me videos of children crawling at 10 months, I'd find hope in that because we know that everything else is normal, which we can never know for any of these conditions because there are crazy conditions out there. But there is no specific path for autism. It can go either way. It can actually even get worse. So I've got this person who generally gets in touch to complain. Like literally, they will say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll say something like, because I know they don't remember anything I ever tell them. So what's the point of in being honest about how I really am? So I'll just say, surviving, and you? Or I will say, I'm surviving, I hope you are okay. Because I'm trying to shut down the conversation before it gets to where I know it will get. Invariably, the conversation will go there anyway. Even though I've said, I hope you're cool, the answer will be, oh my word, my children are such a disaster. They did this, they did that, and I'm so tired of them. They're always fighting, or they say I'm always shouting. Now, I love this person very much. And she's not doing it on purpose. But if she's doing it, I'm sure many other people are doing it too, in different ways. It's like the people who say, hey, how are the twins? And I'll say, they're fine, as in they're not sick. And then the person will tell me, oh, they must be walking by now. My daughter has now been walking. Oh, it's so much fun stopping her from opening cupboard doors. And I'd be thinking, shoo. I remember the times when my son wasn't opening anything at an age where he should have been walking and he wasn't yet crawling. Good for you. Glad for you that your son, your daughter is able to crawl around and open cupboard doors. Mine, I don't know what's wrong with him, but there's something wrong. And you're telling me that is not good news to me. So my point is, if you know that I've got problems, go and find someone who has your level of problems. Because we have problems, but seriously, some problems are bigger than others. I know, because I lived a life where before the back pain became too bad, and when I only had 2 children, I was thankful. I knew my life was charmed. I knew it. I was waiting for something bad to happen. So we have to be honest. Some lives are easier than others. A friend of mine was honest. She has 2 adopted children. And she said, okay, God must think you're stronger than me, because my life is very easy and he's let you suffer so much. He obviously thinks that if he gave me your problems, I would just die. You wouldn't. You have to keep going. Please don't die. I know there are people who do commit suicide, who kill their children and then commit suicide. I heard about it yesterday. But yes, the person in the comments, when she was saying, the woman was discussing her problems. Her child was 7, I think, and even hitting her and punching her, making holes in doors and roofs. And then some silly woman asked, does this woman even love her child? How can you look loving when you're distraught? How? And if she didn't love her child, as she said, she would have given him up for adoption, when even that isn't because of hate, but she would have made a way to run away from him. She and her husband were even thinking of getting him committed to a psychiatric hospital. They didn't know what to do and how to survive, but they love their son. He is well cared for. They feed him. They love him. We feed our children. It doesn't take away the hard times. So, of course, as always, okay, not always, let's say 80% of the time, 80% of the time when she gets in touch is to complain about something. It's never just to say, hey, I wanted to know how you're doing. How are things? And that's it. I just know, great, here we go. So, sorry, I sent a video. I will play a few clips now. Well, not now, but soon. And those are representative of minutes and minutes of every day, these past 2 weeks especially, every single day, multiple times a day. This has been my life. If healthy mothers cannot stand it, how in the world am I meant to survive? Just listen. And when you're listening, don't only think, oh, the child is miserable. Just imagine what that has, the impact it has on me. to be helpless, making her less miserable, and to be tired, physically tired, and wishing I could rest, and wishing she could rest, with me. I would give anything to be able to just say, come, I can say, come, let's lie down together. And then we lie down together, and being in my arms comforts her, but it doesn't. So yeah, I sent something like these videos to her after she complained about her neurotypical children and how she had left them, escaped their madness. And I was thinking, you can escape. Some of us can't escape. The madness comes to us even if we're hiding, or we have to go and seek it out to try and figure out if there's any way we can take the suffering of this child away from them. So yeah, I played these. I'm going to make you some fruit. We're gonna have fruit. And then I said something like, I would give anything to have a child who can tell me what she wants, what the problem is. I would give anything not to have to deal with this while my body is falling apart. My friend will also recognize, because that I complained to her and I said, this is why the body part wasn't even touched upon. That's not real friendship. Real friendship asks, when someone asks, how are you? And you're supposedly friends, you should be meaning it. So, and now I'm really digressing. That's why I don't answer questions anymore unless I know the person really means it. Because if you said, how are you? And I tell you, I'm surviving, or I'm trying, or what, and then I say to you, my body is falling apart and we haven't been in touch for a long time, you will ask me if you love me. Why? What's wrong? Because the last time we spoke, I was having surgery. So, you can ask, is it another surgery? Is it your disease? Is it progressing? So yes, I would give anything not anything, but I would rather have the squabbles of neurotypical children. My teenagers, there was a time they were fighting all the time. And even then, I never complained to anyone because I knew it could be worse. And I think that's the other thing that irritates me. It can be worse. Be grateful that they can talk. Be grateful that they're alive. Or otherwise, just admit that, okay, I didn't actually want to be a mother. There are people who say, I shouldn't have become a mother. Maybe you are one of them. Just say so. So I digressed and I've lost my train of thought. So I sent the videos, and then the response, this is where I finally, sorry for the long, probably rambling intro that makes no sense to you. Here's where I was going. The response was something along the lines of, that is crazy. I know a family where they put pictures, and the child could then, who also wasn't talking like your child, and they could then point, and the child could nod their head or shake their head to signify yes or no. And yeah, I hope something happens. I can't handle screaming. I can't handle crying. You're so strong. Boom, that was it. And I thought, seriously, how long have I been an autism mom? Why not ask if I've tried any form of communication? In fact, don't even ask me, because that is stupid, because obviously I've tried all forms of communication. I think that's the thing. It goes without saying that if she could sit down or stand and focus on a photo and learn a meaning behind the photo, and then be able to nod or shake her head, no, I would have done it. I'm not stupid. And to imply that, well, you could try this, it's like you're saying, I haven't thought of it. You're not asking, is she able? That's what I want. Please ask our children, or ask us if our children are able to do A, B, C. as I shared in the other video, my child will want you to, like, there are different things she'll want, but she will want you to balance something like this on this, and then she will lose it when you cannot, and you tell her, I can't. It doesn't look, it doesn't go, it falls off. No matter what you try and say, she acts as if you, me, are doing it on purpose and refusing to grant her something that is possible. That is the reaction we get. My child obviously cannot reason, doesn't have logic in the way other 4-year-olds do, or the way other 4-year-olds do. I know that because none of my other children ever asked for that, not even my other neurodivergent children. This is the first time I've ever had a child who asks for the impossible at age 4 and then loses it completely when it can't be done. So, yes, you tell me, is there a photo that I can show where she will nod yes or no for that? She doesn't even know why my child is crying, what she isn't able to communicate, what she is wanting to communicate. That was the whole point. For all I know, my child could have been crying because she wanted me in her head to put a sandal on her teddy bear, but she can't tell me that anyway. But even if she could tell me that, and I'm sure she's frustrated that she can't tell me, but even if she could tell me that she wants me to put a sandal on her teddy bear, don't ask me how I will even order that in pictures. I know I would figure out a way. But then I would still have to say, no, I can't, or I can, or I just say, I don't even say no all the time. Sometimes I say, I can't, or I say, look, it's falling. It matters not what wording I use. All she knows is mom or whoever is not doing what I want them to do, and I am angry. 99% of the time, it is a tantrum. It's about wanting something. She wants to eat cereal, bowl after bowl after bowl. Her stomach never rests. And if I dare say, not now, or you've already had 2 bowls, and this is straight after a meal, a proper full meal, she will scream. And yes, I do know that Risperdal makes you hungry, but how hungry? It's not like, the doctor has said, when a child is on Risperdal, then let them have 6 bowls of food extra to make up for it, and then they'll stop being hungry. It's like she will just keep eating and eating and eating and burst and die. But you see, because I actually love my child, even though I'm being honest about how hard it is, I don't want her to die. I don't want her to become obese and have heart problems on top of whatever side effect the medication itself will have. But back to the point I'm making. Please don't give unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice sucks. Sorry. It stinks. It's unsolicited for a reason. If people wanted advice, they would ask. I've got a friend whose aunt keeps sending her job adverts. If she wanted a job, she would have told her aunt. She doesn't need her aunt to keep sending her job adverts. She doesn't want, or she doesn't want those jobs. It's like when my dad told my husband he must go apply to be a police officer, and he had cut out an advert for police officers. We'd barely even started looking for a job. It had been maybe 2 months of him not finding a job in his field, and already my dad was saying, oh well, you'll just have to diversify. 2 months. I can understand 6 months of not finding anything. Then, of course, you'll take anything. You'll be a gardener, you'll be a kitchen guy, you'll cook, you'll wash dishes in the restaurant, but 2 months. So it was unsolicited and not welcome. But he meant well, and most people mean well. But sometimes they come from a position of, I know more than you, and let me teach you how you can communicate with your child. I've been an autism mom, knowingly an autism mom, for 8 years now. Believe me, I've read a lot, and I'm still reading a lot. I know more about ankylosing spondylitis than all the people who have ever given me unsolicited advice about that too. So my request is, don't give your friend unsolicited advice. Listen. And if you think you've got something, a way to help them, ask. and ask yourself if it will be helpful. Like, she could ask me, okay, you've got 5 other children. Do you think you have the time to find pictures, make pictures, and teach her? Ask me that. And then I'll tell you that, well, actually, she doesn't want to look at pictures. She doesn't like looking at pictures. That will be a start. Then that already, at least we're talking. We're at a position of equality where we both are giving and taking. Veterans, whether it be of whatever condition, disease of their own or of their child or of their parent, if you're not in their world, believe me, unless you're an expert and you've studied that particular world, you know less than they do. Please come to us in the guise of a learner, in the guise of a helper, not an instructor. Yes. Please don't make things worse for us. We live with stress, anxiety, depression, and stress are very, very high, especially amongst mothers of children with autism. And I bet you it's the same for ADHD and all the other labels, acronyms, diagnoses my children have. I'm sure of it. And I know it's the same when someone has incurable diseases that are progressing. I don't need extra stress. I just need understanding. I just need help. What real help? Useful help. And the only way you can help me is if you know my needs. So ask me.